realistically. Well, man,
Yeah.
you got a great story from pro soccer player to AI and all over in
hmm
between. So I'm looking forward to getting into it. Thank you for taking a minute out.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to begin our journey in this conversation by asking you 4 years ago, we were trying to figure out this pandemic, and it
hmm
did so many different things to all of us. How did you
hmm
make it through that time period, and how did it change the way that you do things now?
Um, that's a great question. So what it changed for me was it gave me a much deeper sense of family. Before that, I was in college, so I graduated in 2020. So like my senior year I was supposed to be graduating in May, but as you know, in March, everything shut down. So we were all sent home from school. So I didn't get to walk, didn't get to do anything like that. But we were under lockdown for maybe what, 6 months. So it was kind of just me and my family at home. And my plan before that, my plan before COVID was that in May I was going to graduate, walk across the stage, blah blah blah, and then I was in the summer I was going to go overseas to Spain or Germany or wherever so that I could play professional soccer. But didn't really happen, didn't really work out. So I was at home with my parents, my sister, and I was just kind of trying to stay in shape, run, touch the ball as much as I could, stay in shape so that when the COVID restrictions were lifted, I could go overseas. So I think what the thing that really changed for me was the emphasis on family togetherness and kind of emphasizing what I really wanted to do, which was play soccer at the time.
Yeah. So what happened? What happened with, your kind of transition into AI and soccer? How did all of that transpire into now?
Yeah. Yeah. So while I was playing professional soccer, I was also building web applications, websites, mobile apps and stuff. So, because I'm a developer by trade, so I was doing all that. And I was also day trading at the time as well. So I was using that to kind of fund my soccer career because it's very expensive buying flights and paying registration fees and paying for housing and food and stuff in foreign countries. So I was using all of my entrepreneurship in order to fund the soccer. And because of that, I wasn't being paid a lot from soccer. So I was kind of disillusioned with professional soccer because, the club I was playing for wasn't paying me in the agreed upon amounts or agreed upon increments. So I ended up after leaving Spain and then leaving Germany, I came back home. I came back home and then I ended up just getting a regular job and then I found AI automation, which was the new big thing, right? But I'm a developer, so I already have experience building web applications, mobile apps, even blockchain applications and stuff like that. So I figured I would try my hand at AI, and it is something that I actually really do, enjoy doing. It's an interesting technology. I think it's a massive market disruptor, and I'm trying to one, teach people how they can also leverage this power, leverage this technology in order to make money online, as
Yeah.
well as, bring that power to small businesses because it's kind of just in the hands of these larger corporations like Apple, OpenAI, or whatever. They're in these larger corporations that can dedicate the time and money towards developing them, but small businesses can utilize them as well. So
So was your dream always to be a soccer player?
always
Okay.
from time I could kick a ball.
So take me back to where you were born and raised and how this kind of duality of being an athlete and then being in technology and being a developer, how did all of those kind of the seeds were planted and grow into who you are today?
Yeah, so I was born actually in France. My father moved around a lot for work. He was a chemical engineer, or a biochemical engineer. So one of his jobs, they transferred him to France, and while my parents were over there, they had me. So I was born over there, and then we moved to Canada, and then we moved to Toronto specifically. After Toronto, moved down to Florida, and then from Florida moved up to Maryland, where I'd say that's where I grew up. If anybody asks me where I'm from, I'll usually say like Maryland because that's where I spent my formative years, right? Middle school, high school, and that's kind of the most critical point in um, probably like human development.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so during that entire time, I always wanted to play soccer. We were definitely a soccer house. My older brother and older sister also played soccer. My brother played professionally for a while, so um, I'd be lying if I said that following him kind of wasn't part of it. But
Yeah.
it was also like my own dream as well.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I also was really interested in technology. So growing up, my dad and I, we would always, I would have like I had an iPod Touch and then the screen cracked. So then he and I would just order a new screen from Amazon, or I don't even think we ordered it from Amazon because Amazon, but we would get a new screen from
Yeah.
somewhere. I don't think it was Amazon because I don't think Amazon was as big as it was then. But then we would just manually fix it ourselves, right? We would go around to pop off the screen. We had a little toolkit. We would do whatever we needed to do, and then we would do that. We would work on the cars. We would work on any laptops around the house. We would whatever, right? So I always had a love for technology, video games, all that. So then when I went to college, I decided to pursue computer science. Um, and part of the reason I chose computer science, one, because, I did have that love for technology, but on the flip side of it, because I wanted to be a professional soccer player, it computer science allowed me the right to, if I if I could get a job, I can do that job remotely and still play professional soccer, right? So I don't have to really be tied to being in a specific location in order to make money with the skills that I learned.
Wow, that's fascinating. So, who's been a hero for you? Who's been an inspiration for you in your life?
Tons of people. I'll say my older brother, he's been kind of a guiding light for me, even things what to do and things not to do. I'd say my dad as well. As I get older, I'd say I take after him more and more every day. So I had really good role models, but then also, there's a bunch of other people in my life. As an athlete, I've come across so many different coaches and even teammates that have helped me along my journey and tons of people, tons of people.
Who was your go-to soccer player? Who do you look up to the most?
My favorite soccer player of all time is Cristiano Ronaldo. But then that's kind of like a cop out answer because it's either like Ronaldo or Messi. So like
Yeah.
I will also say there was another guy, if you're familiar with soccer, you'll know him. Thierry Henry, he played for Arsenal. So my dad is a big Arsenal guy. My older brother is as well. I'm not necessarily a fan of them, but Thierry Henry was one of my favorite players to watch. Just because he was so good. And my number, he wore number 12 for the French national team, and I used to wear number 12 to kind of emulate him and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd say those two are my two of my favorites.
So, whether as a player or a spectator, what was the best game that you've ever been at? The best stadium experience where you felt the crowd, felt the energy? What was that moment for you?
Oh, there's a few. So as a spectator, I'll say there was one time when I was, I think 11, 10 or 11. One of my coaches was from Argentina. So he gathered myself and a few other players and brought us down to Argentina for a camp for the summer. And while we were there, we went to a River Plate versus Tigres game, and it was crazy, right? And they have sort of a rivalry. So as soon as as soon as the game ended, I think the we were in the it was at River Plate Stadium, so the away team was Tigres. I think River Plate won the game, and the Tigres fans, we were in the home section. The Tigres fans, they left the stadium early and they were waiting outside of the stadium to just like fight the other
Wow.
fans. So we had to get like escorted out of the stadium, and it was crazy. Um, and then I would say as a player. I have a couple actually. There was one time in just playing high school soccer. There was my high school was actually pretty good at soccer, so we would go to the state championships every year. I think this was like the semis or something, but um, the stadium was filled. I ended up scoring the first goal in the game, and then we ended up losing 2-1. But I scored the first goal to put us up 1-0. Crowd was going crazy, and it was one of the first moments where you can kind of like feel the energy from,
Mhm.
the people around. And then I had another one in Spain as well while I was out there. The the crowd actually did not like me, because it was an away game. It was a pretty large stadium. And I'm a winger, so I play on the outsides against, and I'm an attacker. So they're defenders. I was playing right wing and they're left back. So me and him are kind of, going at each other. And they didn't like me because he would foul me, I would foul him. We were kind of going back and forth. And then he ended up getting a red card. So they really didn't like me because they he was kicked out of the game. And then at halftime, when we're walking into the locker rooms are underneath the stadium. So as you're walking into the locker rooms, you have to like pass underneath the fans. So all the fans are like throwing beer at me and they're cursing at me in Spanish and stuff. And it was for that doesn't sound great, but I had a great time.
Yeah, right.
The vibes were great. I loved it.
I hear that. I got my son weaned on indoor soccer. We have the Kansas City
Hmm.
Comets, and
Okay.
man, that's a good time. It's fast paced.
Yep.
Those guys are
Yep.
really cool. They're very,
Hmm.
very good. My son's on the spectrum, so he's friends with them, and it's just the whole thing is really
Yeah.
cool. So yeah,
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Indoor soccer is it's one of the best vibes that you can get because
yeah,
everything's enclosed. I mean, it's a faster paced game because
uh-huh,
there's no out of bounds. You kick it off the walls and you keep playing, and it's just a lot more fun.
yeah,
It's smaller teams and a bit more intimate. Yeah, it's
yeah,
cool. I love
yeah.
indoor
It's good.
soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So let me ask you this: what is it that gets you up every day to do the work that you do? To do the work, to help your clients, to evolve as a human being. What is that motivation for you every day?
So my mission is basically just to give people the opportunity that I had, right? So I was very fortunate that, I came from a middle class family. I was afforded many opportunities that other people weren't. And because of the opportunities I was afforded, I was able to structure my life in a way that would allow me to pursue professional soccer, right? And I want to give that opportunity to people by teaching them skills to make money online. And yeah, so they can build AI tools and sell them to businesses for thousands of dollars, and they can use that money to fund whatever they want to do. If they want to be a painter, a musical artist, an actor, whatever. If you want to put yourself through like a trade school or something, whatever you desire to do. Um, I think there's never been a better time than now to that you can make money online and then use that money to fund whatever it is that you want to do.
So, of everything, all the advice that you've gotten in your life, what's been the best
Mm.
advice you've ever gotten?
The best advice that I've ever gotten, I'd say from my dad, be coachable.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, and it seems like more and more people are getting coaches all over the place, business coaches,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I've talked to a lot of them and they're like, well, athletes have them all the time. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't people that are trying to do the best they can in their profession
yeah,
go out and get some people that help them do
yeah,
do better?
yeah. And I'm of the mind that you can learn something from everybody. It doesn't matter who they are. They can make more money than you, less money than you. They can, whatever. Everybody has different experiences, and there's something that you can take from everybody. So I think the point of that my dad was trying to get across to me is that just listen. You never know what kind of information somebody can give you that will help you move forward in whatever direction you want to move forward in.
So being on the forefront of development in AI, which is kind of like
Mhm.
the frontier right now, like this is the place that people were dreaming we were going to get to. But there's always something else that's going on. So it's a two-part question. Are you afraid at all of the powers of AI going to a weird place? And where do you see this going in, say, 10 years from now?
So yes and no. Um, Excuse me. I'll say yes and no. I am scared for certain people. So, for example, I'm nervous for the future of um the male community that is alone and they don't really have companionship in their life or something like that. And AI can be a very easy crutch for those people. It can respond to them the same way that a human would, and as AI progresses in the next 5, 10, 20 years, there will be pictures, there will be videos or whatever. It can simulate a real person. I'm not sure if you've seen the movie Her. It was basically kind of about that, right?
Yeah.
But it'll be to an exponential level. It'll be that way worse. So I'd say that that aspect of it can be a bit scary for because we have I have no idea what effect that'll have on the human population. If there's millions of people that are, interacting with AI for companionship and stuff like that, what does that do to the larger society?
Yeah.
I'm not smart enough to predict that. I don't know. But it is something that worries me.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I think AI is the single greatest thing that we've invented that can ex expedite our productivity.
Yeah.
We have never had the chance to be as productive as we can right now. Even yesterday, I had to come up with 50 different taglines for an ad campaign that I'm about to run, and I was able to do it in a fraction of the time using AI than I would have if it was just me, right? If this was 5 years ago, I would not be able to do it as quickly as I could have today, as I did yesterday, right? So I think AI makes us a lot more productive. I do think that some people's jobs won't necessarily be taken, but it'll be changed. So I think people should learn to embrace AI. I often tell the story that, in I think it was 92 when QuickBooks came out. So before that, accountants had to do basically every single thing by hand. And when QuickBooks came out, it was the accountants that adapted and learned how to use QuickBooks that were more valuable to the marketplace and were able to keep jobs and get more jobs. But it was the ones who were apprehensive and didn't really want to adopt it that found themselves out of a job, right?
Yeah.
And we're in a very similar situation now with AI, right? So if you're a customer service agent and you think that AI can just replace you, it can 80% of the way, right? AI is kind of, as of right now, is kind of designed to cover 80% of the tasks that a customer service agent could do, and that 20% is still necessary for a human to come in and do, right? So
Yeah.
if you as a customer service agent can just go ahead and implement AI, then you will be 80% more efficient at your job, right? So you can instead of having five different calls, you probably only have one of the five calls because the other four can be handled by AI. All you have to do is just oversee it, make sure everything's going smoothly and so on and so forth, right? So I think it is twofold. It can be scary depending on, how things are used in the future, but it also offers us the potential to be super productive and get things done at a much more efficient rate today.
So, of everything that you've done and evolved into in your life, what are you the proudest of?
What am I the proudest of? That's a good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that. What am I the proudest of? I'd say that I'm the proudest of my mentality. I was, and I can't just credit myself for this, right? I've always had great people around me. I've had great friends. I have a wonderful fiance, and I have great parents and brother and sister and stuff. So it's not just myself that was able to contribute to the person that I am today, but I'd say I'm proudest. I'd say that's the thing I'm proudest of.
So, let's take it one step further. Everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, everyone that's known you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
I think I am ambitious. I'd like to think that I'm confident. I'm caring, generous, and I'm a person who, I mean, I'm working on it now, but I'm a person who likes to get things done.
So, if you could get transported back into time, a time machine pulls up when we get off,
Mhm.
and you can go see one soccer game, where are you going?
I'm going to I think it was the 2006 World Cup, France versus Germany. Oh, no, France versus Brazil. because I think that was the most star-studded game of probably all time.
Yeah.
You had like people like Kaká, Ronaldinho, Robinho, like you had Ronaldo, you had all the big Brazilian names, and then you had all the guys on the French side as well. You had Zidane, um, I'm drawing a blank. Vieira. You had all. I think that was the most star-studded game
Yeah.
that has ever been played. So that I would have loved. I watched it on TV, but I would have loved to have been there.
Feel that energy for sure.
Yeah,
So if anyone wants to
yeah.
delve into your world of coaching, AI, anything that you have to offer, how do they reach out? How do they do that? The good business.
Yeah. So I have a YouTube channel. You can go search on YouTube Daniel Hart, Hart, like just like Kevin Hart, Daniel Hart AI, and my channel should come up. But I also have a community of around 200 people where I'm just giving away all the knowledge that I have and just helping them learn how to use AI and build AI tools so that they can sell them to businesses. And that is on school.com. So if you go to school.com/AIE, it should come up. Yeah, it's the AI entrepreneurship community. And yeah, that's about it. My YouTube channel and my school community.
Okay, cool. Daniel, this has been great, man. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Keep doing the great work out there.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Take care.